Lynn, this question comes from a former member of President Clinton's cabinet. He says, Mr. LaRouche, as I'm sure you're aware, Germany triggered a near-panic flight from southern European debt markets this week by warning that there would be no EU bailouts for Greece. But the fact is that this decision, at least what some people are saying, is that this decision could in fact be fatal for the entire Eurozone. I was at a seminar earlier in the week where Nouriel Roubini said that the deeper problem is the problem in Spain, where youth unemployment is apparently at about 45%, and the housing bust a long way to go. Roubini said that while Greece could be fatal to the Eurozone, that Spain is simply too big to contain, and that if Spain goes under, it would be a disaster for the global system. During the course of the last month or so, most of everyone's attention has been focused on the situation in the United States. However, I think we're right back where we were in looking at the current period as a period of sovereign defaults. While I've studied your four-power agreement and find it to be the fact of the matter is that I don't see it coming into being quickly enough to address this immediate crisis. So I know you said earlier in your webcast, no more bailouts. But my question to you is how, in fact, should this be addressed to avoid global chaos?
The problem is largely, there's the Bank de Santander and so forth, and Bilbao and so forth in Spain, were extensions of a problem with the Royal Bank of Scotland. And this is all over South and Central America, especially South America. So what we have is a case of a Spain polluted by corruption on a grand scale, and the corruption was steered from the United Kingdom by circles close to the British monarchy, such as the Bank of Scotland, Royal Bank of Scotland. We know that history, we know those connections. Now, in all of these cases, first of all, you have several problems that must be considered. First of all, the 3% rule of the British system, or of the European system. That a country can go into debt only for 3% of its total of its GDP, or the equivalent. Now, that's insane. Take the case, first of all, of Greece. Greece is probably over 100%, not 3%, in trouble. So what's the solution? Well, because Greece doesn't have a real economy to support its population. Therefore, Greece needs an economy sufficient so that it becomes a viable economy. Spain is not a viable economy for similar reasons. Lack of adequate development. Italy has a problem. Let's take Italy. Let's take the Cassa di Mezzogiorno as a policy. The Cassa di Mezzogiorno was shot down, in effect. So therefore, and Italy has been destroyed by the Britannia yacht's visit to Italy. So the shutting down of the Cassa di Mezzogiorno and the catastrophe caused by the Britannia yacht intervention in the politics of India, in Italy. Another case in point. Germany was destroyed by the combined dictatorial ruling of the Prime Minister of England, Margaret Thatcher, the President of France, François Mitterrand, who was a British agent at that time, so he doesn't really count as a full president, and the President of the United States, George H.W. Bush, the son of the guy who put Hitler into power in Germany by financing the entry into power from the Brown Brothers harem in New York City. So you've got a Nazi tradition from Wall Street, the Bush family, which has not done much good for humanity, let alone the United States. And you got what these guys did is they gave an order. Helmut Kohl said, okay, we're a nation. We're one nation. Reunited. Nobody has objected to this. So we're going to start uniting the nation. East and West Germany. Mitterrand said, and Kohl qualified that, what he said to him was a threat of a military attack on Germany if Germany should try to unite. Margaret Thatcher said, Germany must be destroyed. It can be admitted, but it will be destroyed. Why? It will be reduced. For example, take the case of Berlin. Berlin, under the period prior to the reunification, Berlin was a concentration of high technology industries. What happened to those industries? They're gone. Why are they gone? Because the British demanded it under an agreement imposed on Germany by force by Thatcher, Mitterrand, and George H.W. Bush. The entire problem of Western Europe, Western and Central Europe, has been the destruction of the economy of Western and Central Europe by this arrangement, which became the euro. And the euro was the issue at that time. What has also happened is that the British have moved, particularly since that terrible pig, Tony Blair, that liar and murderer, Tony Blair, is what they did is they moved to destroy all sovereignty of any nation in Western and Central Europe. And the same pigs, Blair and company, whose stooge is the current president of the United States, Barack Obama, in a speech in Chicago, attested to this. And that's why Chicago got picked. So we're being destroyed by these guys. We're being destroyed by the policy. The economic problem is not the failure of a nation to do what it should do. In these cases, it was the imposition by an international imperial force, typified by an agreement among Thatcher, Mitterrand, and Bush to destroy Germany, which led to the destruction of the sovereignty of the nations of Western and Central Europe, which orchestrated the destruction of the former Soviet Union in a similar fashion. And you have foolish people on the continent of Europe, including in Russia, who kiss the butt of the British up to the present day. And when you're kissing the butt of the British, it's hard for you to see reality in the world beyond. And so the whole problem of the euro is cancel it. My point is there's no chance of trying to negotiate with the euro as an entity, with the European Union as an entity. You cannot negotiate with it on a global scale. It is not a factor. The Atlantic Ocean leads nowhere because it comes from nowhere. And nowhere is Europe. Not today, there's no sovereignty there. Why are you trying to cut a deal with a guy? You know, it's like corrupting a minor. Think of the European nations as a minor. It is not allowed to make decisions. It's not an adult anymore. It's not allowed to make adult decisions. Now, are you going to go out and cut a contract with a child who's a minor? An unlawful agreement? A morally disgusting kind of corruption? Of course not. So we are forced to go to where we can go. I personally feel very good about China. I feel good about what Russia is. There's a couple of Russians I don't feel too good about, but that's another matter. But as a nation, yeah, I feel good about Russia, historically and otherwise. I feel good about India. And I feel good about South Korea. I see a lot of good in Japan, which will come forth under this kind of agreement. I see a lot in South Asia, which is either very good or something we have to assist in protecting. I believe we should kick the British out of Africa entirely. They've been there too long, and they must never return. It must be a law. So therefore, don't be so pessimistic. I can promise you that whatever I do, some other things are certain. And that is, Obama is gone soon. Not because I say so, but because he's gone soon. He has been used up. Those of you who pay very close attention to certain signs will have seen what I see. His days are numbered. By me? No, not by me. I comment on it. Not by me. His days are numbered because the people who own him are ready to dump him. Who owns him? The British. They have signaled they're about to dump him. So he is soon gone. If you have any plans for travel with Obama, you should get the bad news. The trip's off.